Touch the leg, everybody. So, welcome to Wednesdays with Rinpoche. So today we are here all right. So we don't have any special topic. I just wanted to come here and let us connect together online, as Wednesday is a very important day in Tibetan. Every Wednesday we actually celebrate this as a lakar, and so we always greet each other by saying lakar sang. So lakar sang to everybody, and we all know that Wednesday is a special, important days for our His Holiness Dalai Lama. So generally, regularly, we actually consider Wednesday as a what do you call the pure Wednesday. So lakar, lak means special, and kar means pure, and special pure Wednesday. So so here today we are gathered here, and I know some of you are here, and today actually I don't post any I didn't post any Facebook message. So just day before yesterday, I had a wonderful ZaChoeje, a lunar 10th day of the month, and ZaChoeje 10th day of the lunar month, and especially this is the first month, so usually I celebrate ZaChoeje with a tsok offering, and sometimes I take this day to do some tsok offering at some special places, and here nearby our town there's one place called Betabutapur. So this hill is a very sacred hill, and it consider that some great Mahasiddha, and there is one Mahasiddha named Pathamba Sangye. Actually, he was the master of Maji Lapkidrema. In there is a Tibetan yogini. Her name was Maji Labdrön, and so Maji Labdrön is a very important Tibetan spiritual figure. Actually, in Tibetan, we have this one very unique tradition called the ZaChoeje. In Tibetan, it's called ZaChoeje tradition. And so this ZaChoeje tradition is a very powerful method to actually cut the ego down. So actually, ZaChoeje means cutting, and so ZaChoeje in Tibetan, so sorry about the interruption. I'm just fixing the video because on my screen I wanted to have this on my left side there is a Pandel Hamo statue or no Tanka painting, and so earlier her face was not showing, so I fixed the Tanka a little bit. I am a little superstitious person. So anyway, what are we talking? ZaChoeje, actually Tibetan word ZaChoeje means cutting through. ZaChoeje means cutting through. So this special tradition called the ZaChoeje, which was actually one of the main, I think the founder of the ZaChoeje tradition in Tibet was Majid Labgedruma, so Majid Labdun. So somehow this great Mahasiddha, Tibetan actually refer him as a Pathamba Sangye. So I don't exactly know what his name called in Indian. There should be Indian name for that. Right now at this point I don't remember. But we Tibetan refer to him as a Pa. Pa means spiritual father. Thamba Sangye, Thamba means noble being, and Sangye means Buddha. So this Thamba Sangye was actually the main master of Majid Labdun. So there is some historical kind of like a story that Thamba Sangye actually originally came from India, and sometimes people say Thamba Sangye, maybe Thamba Sangye means Buddha Dharma. So there is, I think there is a lot of story about how Buddha Dharma actually came to China and he visited many parts of Asia. Like there's a story like that. So I exactly don't know. Maybe the Master Buddha Dharma is same as the Thamba Sangye, but from the name wise it looks like that. So Thamba means Tambe Chö, which is Dharma. Buddha means Sangye, so Buddha Dharma. As we know that in China, Buddha Dharma actually came, and then the Zen tradition, right? The Zen actually, the Japanese Zen tradition actually came from China, and so somehow the original name for Zen, actually in Chinese they call it Chan. So the pronunciation was a little different, that the Japanese people actually call Zen to the Chan. But then the Chinese pronunciation, they call it Chan. The original word actually came from Sanskrit. So Sanskrit word for Chan, so the Chinese actually pronunciation changed. So Sanskrit word is Gyan. So like I think these days in Hindi also they call it Gyan, right? Gyan is like the wisdom, right? Sort of like a primordial wisdom or something wisdom. So that is kind of like I think maybe there is some connection between Thamba Sangye and Buddha Dharma, because in the history we all know that Buddha Dharma was a very mystical, right? He is a very mystic master. So same as Thamba Sangye is also a very mysterious master. So he actually go from many places. So there was one story that he came to this hill called the Beta the Boar. So this hill is a very special hill that Thamba Sangye actually was a practitioner of Chakrasambhara, Hiruka. Like where he practiced, so somehow we actually consider that like if he chose some places, that means this kind of places have a means kind of like it's a place that many spiritual dakas, dakinis, kind of like gather. So somehow from my early childhood, I had some experience, when I was like 9, 10, 11, I think that age, I used to go with some Tibetan masters and a group of Tibetan people, during some special day, we go there, and so as a kind of, it's like a pilgrimage, and so somehow we have to climb that like a hill. So that hill is a special hill, and it's just kind of, it is little bit kind of like a little bit hard to actually climb. So somehow I personally kind of like feel kind of connected to that place, and so sometime when I get special, some of like Tsichu or Nyeranga, I kind of go there and do some talk. And so day before yesterday we went, and I actually went with one of my spiritual friend, my childhood friend Rinpoche, and so it was a wonderful day, and so we only two of us actually went in the morning, and then we drove from our home to that place by the foothill, and then just kind of we went up the hill. So I don't exactly know how many steps there are, but people say that there are like maybe 3,600 or 700 steps to climb. So it is a kind of like a pretty steep, kind of like a trekking, hiking. So somehow physically it is kind of nice to do some hiking, and then just kind of like, especially when you go kind of like connecting with the nature, and then hiking up the hill, and then once you actually reach at the peak of the hill, then sometimes it is like a wonderful experience. It's just kind of like you get to experience this like what do you call a spaciousness, right? A spacious experience. It's kind of like when you are on the top of the hill, sort of like it is amazing that we get to see sort of like a 360 degree, 360 degree of the whole surrounding area. So it's kind of like once in a while, I sort of like recommend going up the hill. But I don't know how much truth there is. In Tibetan saying, we say that if you go to some higher place, then kind of like Tibetan traditionally we believe like a lungta. Lungta means sort of like a luck, your fortune. But sort of like if you go like a little higher place, and then it says that it will increase your lungta. So I don't know how much truth in it, but I was talking to my Rinpoche friend, and when we were at the top of the hill, so we discussed that when we go on the top of the hill, it will kind of like increase our lungta, like a good fortune. And then we actually did some what do you call discussion. So he said that I don't know, that's just kind of like maybe that's like he said he doesn't believe that much on this kind of old saying. But I said, just kind of like I don't know how much we believe, but it is there is some truth that when we actually reach like very high, then the vision that we have is like so spacious. So when we have a spacious kind of vision experience, and then like I think it will affect our mind also. Some kind of like it will make our mind spacious. So I think maybe there's some connection, kind of like feeling like that. So anyway, that's just some of my kind of like a day before yesterday experience. Like we did a talk, and I am, actually a kind of strong believer and practitioner of Chakrasambhara, and especially the Vajrayana is one of the main practice that I actually do. So, and personally, I have some interesting connection. When I was, when I was children, like when I was at a very, very young age, as I mentioned earlier, when I went up there, kind of like I had some, I don't know, sort of like a delusion or vision, so I don't know. So that kind of experience I had, and then we actually did one very detailed Vajrayana talk up there, and actually it is interesting that when we reach at the top of the hill, so there is one like a goddess statue there, and sort of like I was kind of having a discussion with this one priest, Pujari. Usually he was not there, but then that day he was there, and I was having some discussion. I said, so what is the name of this statue that you have, this goddess? And then he said, Parvati. So I think it is a consort of Shiva, right? And then inside the temple, on the side of the temple, there is one kind of like a secret room. I know that from a long time. Before, that was kind of not locked, but now these days, actually, they put some gate and they locked it. Before, I used to go in there, just sitting by the side of this Shiva Linga. So inside the temple, at the corner, it's kind of like a part of secret. So there is one Shiva Linga, and sometime kind of like there is some kind of like a connection between the Chakrasambhara and the Shiva places. So there is some parallel energy connection, and as we know that one of the main kind of like what do you call Tantra of the Chakrasambhara, where Buddha Shakyamuni actually kind of emanate himself as the Chakrasambhara Heruka, and in the scripture it says that on the Mount Meru, on the top of the Mount Meru, but I kind of believe that that mountain is a Mount Kailash. So Buddha Shakyamuni manifested himself in the form of Heruka, Chakrasambhara, and then opened the mandala of the Chakrasambhara on the top of the Mount Kailash, and then within the kind of like within this world, we consider that actually there are 24 sacred places. All these 24 places actually have Shiva, linga. So I actually been to some of these places myself, but so many of the places where the Chakrasambhara's kind of like a Tantra connection, there's always a Shiva linga So kind of, that is, we consider from the Hindu point of view, that is Shiva Shakti kind of figure, and then from a Buddhist point of view, we actually consider that there is a Hiruka, Chakrasambhara's energy wherever there is a Shiva Linga. So anyway, what we did is we did the sok right in front of that Shiva Linga, and inviting all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and all the deities that is connected to the Chakrasambhara and Vajrayana, and then made the sok offering and recite the mantra, and then we prayed actually for the well-being of all sentient beings, and so that is kind of what we did. So anyway, today I am just talking about my experience, and so there is, as I always say, our Wednesday is kind of like a casually kind of talking, and then I see many of my friends who are actually watching this, so wanted to greet all of you, and so on my screen I see Luann Beringer, Luann Tashidelek, Luann, and then John Gossett Tashidelek, and Ninju Kumaran Tashidelek, and you were saying prostration Bhagwan while honoring this holy 2-week period, which includes the great prayer festival. We remember how with endless selfless kindness and patience our Gurudev has tirelessly given us joyful and profound teaching every single Wednesday since April 22. You have made each one of these 45 weeks holy weeks for us. Namo Namaha Jai Gurudev Buddha Sharanam. Thank you, Ninju. So Tashidelek, and then Doro, Auntie Glenn Tashidelek, and Denta Gagusang, Denta La Tashidelek, and then John Gossett, good morning. Jitka Marigold Tashidelek, Jitka Sang, and then Sylvia Bark Tashidelek, Sylvia. Jim Henry Tashidelek, David Kumito Tashidelek, and Janet Campbell Tashidelek, Lynn Gordon Tashidelek, Andrew Wall Tashidelek, and Tashipunzo La Tashidelek, and then Alex saying Tashidelek Rinpoche, Tashidelek Alex, please can you give us your thought on the proper way of relating to the outer human Lama? As you know, some Westerner worship their Lama almost like a God. Some are very offhand and not respectful, and there are Lama in the West who have behaved badly, and their followers are confused whether to continue to honor the Lama or not. How is this relationship different for practitioner of Tantra? Alex, I think this is kind of like from, if your question is from how is this relationship different for practitioner of Tantra. So generally, I think Tantra is Vajrayana, right? So so somehow the kind of like the word Tantra, sometimes people use it kind of like a negative connotation, but actually it is like a Tibetan called Gyude, like tantric scriptures are called the Gyude. So the direct translation of the Tantra is Gyu. Gyu means sort of like a connection. So I think it is basically it is a method to connect deeply within your deepest level of consciousness. So so that kind of like you know, so somehow it is Lama or Guru or the person who actually give you initiation, right? Sort of like in the Tantra, sort of like the Guru is the one who have initiated you into the entrance of the practice. And somehow, generally in Buddhism, kind of like Lama or the Guru is important because the Guru and Lama is the one who actually introduce you into the Dharma, right? So, but then just kind of like one most important thing that you know, this relationship between Guru and Chela, or master and disciple, I think the foundation of that relationship, the most important thing is respect, mutual respect. So it is just kind of, sometimes there is some kind of what you call negative kind of what you call misunderstanding, right? That people think that like only like the disciple should respect the master, but the proper way to have this like a genuine kind of like a relationship, a spiritual relationship, is kind of like the respect should go both ways. So it is not only respect from the student to the teacher or disciple to the master, but I think the master should respect the disciple too. So kind of like if a master, if a teacher taking advantage of the respect of the students or disciple, then I think it is not a sign of respect. So there is no mutual respect there, right? So that is I think that you know, kind of like respect should go both ways, and based on that, and then if we understand the relationship, then we can see that how important this master-disciple relationship is. So somehow, ultimately, you know, there is an outer guru and inner guru, right? So when we actually connect with the outer guru, kind of like we need to actually first connect with our inner guru. So outer guru should be a reflection of our inner guru. But then when it comes to the tantric kind of way, then kind of like in Tantra, so the master or the guru have a lot of what do you call, responsibility as well as authority, because somehow the whole kind of like you have, like if you want to practice like Vajrayana, then somehow it is very important that one outer guru have to, a lineage guru, the master who had a lineage. So somehow it is like, you know, how this lineage was begin, like the Vajradhara give a kind of a permission to the one person, and that one person have to, you know, introduce or sort of like so people cannot just enter into the Vajrayana path. So to enter into the Vajrayana path, somehow the outer guru, somehow there should be a one person who have to authorized. So somehow initiation is like giving you a permission to somehow. So this is a kind of system. This is the rule. So that is also makes a kind of like this spiritual relationship is very important, especially in the Tantra. So as I mentioned earlier, I think that both the outer guru and the student or disciple need to understand the basic rules of this relationship is that, they have to respect each other. So if someone is having a bad intention to each other, then somehow there is no respect. There is no respect between them. If there is no respect between them, then I don't know if there is a relationship. So that is my kind of like thing. So just kind of your question is a very kind of big question because in this very short time I cannot explain everything. All right. All right, then Nyeme Kyambola Tashidelek Manika Omanipeme Hum. Okay. Tashidelek Kathy Tashidelek and Manika saying, have you lost weight? Okay, so I don't know. Kind of like I'm same, maybe a little bit. And then Carol Inglestate Tashidelek and GT Duen Tien, Tashidelek Tien, and Archana Patel, Tashidelek, Siring Dojila, Tashidelek, Miho Sang, Tashidelek, good morning from NZ, good evening from India. So Ernie Regula, from Ernie, Tashidelek, what is consciousness, not the five consciousness? Thank you for your help. So Ernie always throw a very big question. What is consciousness? So not the five consciousness, right? So there is no consciousness without five consciousness. Actually, are you talking about the five physical consciousness, right? So eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness. Kind of like what do you call body consciousness, and then like if your question is mental consciousness, right? What is mental consciousness? So the mental consciousness, this is a very big word because it cannot be explained in one simple kind of like a word. Because in Tibetan, like sometimes we refer consciousness as a sim, and then sometimes we refer it as a yi. Sometimes it refer as a number sheba. So there, like even in the Tibetan, like there are few different words for the consciousness. So generally. Kind of like a conscious, I don't know exactly how it is in English language, but some sort of like, if we look at the consciousness, simply kind of awareness, maybe awareness can be, awareness, but then kind of like all, like looks like all the mental awareness are consciousness, but then it is not, right? Because there is mental factors, right? So then like when we define the so yig number sheba, that is like a primary awareness. There is one primary awareness, and then there are secondary awareness, which is kind of like which called the mental factors, right? So in Tibetan, Simjung Aji, sort of like so there is a primary consciousness, and then primary consciousness has many kind of mental factors. So many different mental factors. So categorically, kind of like in Tibetan Buddhism, we put like a 51, right? Simjung Aji. So that is like a secondary mental factors. So from that, we can understand kind of primary awareness or the consciousness. So then consciousness also, when we actually talk about the Tenre Yala Chungyi to an interdependent link, then there is a kind of like a marikpa. Marikpa is ignorance, and then nipa duche, the second is karma, and then there is a sumba namshe. So that is another kind of like a consciousness which is the base of kind of like a storage of all our karma. So the storage of all our karma, somehow whatever action, whatever karma we actually perform, so everything where it is storing, where all the karma is storing is consciousness. And then when it is defined the consciousness actually sometime in the mind-only school, then it is not six consciousness, it is a kind of like a eight consciousness, right? On top of five physical consciousness, and then mental consciousness is extended, sort of like a the sixth mental consciousness, they call it. And then there is a seventh and eighth. The seventh is the nui, afflictive consciousness. And then eighth is the guinxi. Guinxi means kind of all basis consciousness. So all basis consciousness, sort of like the consciousness actually, that's the essence of our being. So as an essence of our being, that one part of us, one biggest aspect of us that goes from one life to another life. So this physical body doesn't come from previous life, right? And so it is all kind of it is a product of this life. So somehow when we actually came from past life to this life, and then when we leave this body and go into next life, what is the one that is going from one life to another life? And that is the consciousness that is traveling. So that is why it's a very huge topic too. All right, Arnie? And Manika saying, how are you in Milan? Okay. And John saying, I find it so touching the way you regard each one of us. Thank you, John. And then Regula saying, Tashi Delek Rinpoche, from Regula, you sometimes define enlightenment as ultimate happiness. Can you explain more what ultimate happiness is versus being happy in the present moment? So ultimate happiness is sort of like what do you call? Free from all the suffering, right? So being happy in the present moment, it is kind of like, what do you call? It's a temporary happy. So it is like even though temporarily we are kind of happy, but then we are not free from all the suffering, right? So ultimate happiness means free from all suffering. So to be free from all suffering, then we have to be free from our affliction, so negativities. So ultimate happiness is the one that is free from, so totally beyond all the negativities. So that is the ultimate happiness, all right? And then Jeff Jordan, Tashi Delek, Mary Milam, Tashi Delek, dear Rinpoche, yesterday I got caught up in thinking about desire in general and desire to follow the Noble Eightfold Path, okay? And will you please help me understand the difference of this type of desire? Desire, just generally, it is kind of like, it is part of life, right? Desire, kind of wanting to do something or willing to do something. So kind of like just natural desire is part of our life, and that is necessary, right? Like if you don't have a desire to help other sentient being, then there is no love, right? When you love someone, and that is like you have a desire to care. And then like when you actually, if you don't have a desire to become enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings, then you cannot be bodhisattva. So so desire in general is necessary. It is like so somehow it is, you need to you have to wish and you have to want. But then when desire become too clinging, or kind of like if it is kind of like based on some selfish motivation or self-centered, or kind of like what do you call, something with the affliction, right? Delusion, then kind of desire become some sort of like, what do you call, unhealthy, like it become not kind of like, it will bring some unnecessary things. So that is why general desire, yes, of course we need to have a desire, we need to have a, if you don't have a will, right? So desire is like a willing. So just that's kind of like we have to kind of check when you have this willing. So say like you have a willing to practice for noble, Eightfold Noble Path, then that kind of will, that kind of willingness is good. Then you have to check why, right? What is the kind of like what is that? What is the intention behind that? So if we actually understand that intention behind that is something pure, something, then kind of like that is something that we should follow. So if the intention behind your desire is not pure and something kind of like a different agenda, then better not to follow that desire, right? All right. And then Joanne Chang, Tashi Delek, Joanne, and Joyce Allen. Good day, Rinpoche. I have not been on for a while. Hope you are well there. Yes, Joyce, I am well and hope you are well. Tashi Delek. And David Kumito Kela here. Kela, Tashi Delek, is the hill you climb Shakti Pita. I don't know it is called Shakti Pita, but like we call the Beta the Poor. So this is kind of like a local, actually people kind of consider that as some sacred hill. I think in the ancient time this hill was very kind of well respected because it is so amazing to see. It is like a very high hill, but there is a step, like a step that is not made recently. I think it is like maybe the step made like maybe 1,000 years ago, and so some of the things that you see, like putting like 3,600 steps up the hill, and many of these steps are kind of like one piece whole rock. So the thickness of the rock is like almost I don't know, like 6 inches or 7 inches, kind of like this, and then long is like maybe I don't know, maybe I would say 6 feet kind of like a length, and so most of these rocks kind of like I was amazed to see many of these rocks are just one piece rock. So like many people, like people were so determined in those ancient time that somehow they put that much effort to put this kind of like a stone step, right? So stone step that is going all the way up to the hill. So it is not like 100 steps, it's not like 500 steps, it's not like 1,000 steps. It is like more than 3,600 steps, putting kind of like that. So like if like so many people put that much effort and that much faith, I think there is a very strong determination and devotion and faith to that hill. So like at one point in the history, I think this was considered very holy places and very sacred. But I think these modern days, I think people are kind of like not putting so much importance and value to this. One time it was very well, what do you call, value. And so it's kind of like when I was there, kind of like on the top of the hill, it's kind of like a little kind of felt a little funny that, people are always going into all this kind of newly built temple and where all this kind of like shiny things, then they consider it as a very holy. But then like this special on the top of the hill, maybe this day, maybe people don't want to put that much effort, like even to, like and our ancient people, they made it easy to go, but then, we at this time, kind of like we don't give that much importance to the going up the hill. And then, on the top of the hill, like almost the hill temple is not really maintained well. It is kind of like inside many part of the temple is all ruined. And so maybe sometime, kind of like the people, don't consider that as some holy place because it is not bringing, what do you call, profit or income, because many people, I think cannot afford their strength to go up there. And then, because if people are not going there, that means not many people will do the offering. So if there is not many offering coming, then, the management doesn't give importance to this kind of place. So when I see this kind of thing, that's kind of little sad. But then I accept that things changes with the time, right? And anyway, so to answer your question, Kela, the hill we climb. I don't know it is called Shaktipita, but it's called Beratapur. So it's a local name for that. So it is somehow kind of like our Tibetan community is not too far from here. It is just like when we go there, it is only like by car, going there by the foothill of that hill, is kind of like maybe 20 to 25 minutes drive. So from our camp, actually, we can see that hill. We can have a darshan, we can have this, we can see from here. So it's not far, but karmically, it is also interesting that our Tibetan community is kind of a little bit, we get a settlement here nearby this. So there is some, maybe there's some kind of karmic connection, right? Anyway, all right, then I see here Zephi. Zephi is here, so Tashidelek Zephi. So now I think I see everybody here, and I wish and send my greeting to all of you. And so happy Wednesday to all of you. And Lakar Sang. And so take care. And David saying thank you, you're welcome. So everybody, thank you all very much. And so today I will conclude our Wednesday. I call this like a Wednesday discussion, Wednesdays with Rinpoche, or chatting, so casual. And so I am sending my prayers and good wishes to all of you. All right? Stay safe, stay strong, be happy. So it's like, don't worry, be happy. All right. Kashi Dele. Yeah.